you have fallen back into an old pattern you have promised yourself you wouldn't do anymore. Whether it's eating coping mechanisms, whether it's with toxic friendships, toxic relationships, or overdoing substances, or etc. Now you can't help but judge yourself and lose confidence and lose hope within yourself because you believe that this is the determinator of how you're going to be for the rest of your life. You don't believe that you're going to be able to change because it's been so many times you told yourself you would stop doing this, but you keep repeating it. So, this video is going to help you deconstruct this limiting belief and help you understand that if you have the power to repeat your old mistakes, your old patterns, you will have the power to create new ones and good ones. Because it is the same thing at the end of the day. It's just bad versus good. So let's talk about the problem most people face when repeating old mistakes or just repeating mistakes and patterns. You have guilt and shame controlling you when you think that because you know you could have done things better. And you believe one mistakes will be controlling the rest of your outcome, the rest of your life. And so people stay stuck in survival mode instead of growth mode. One solution I would recommend you guys is that when you repeat mistakes, you need to feel your emotions. So you need to be there for yourself, but you have to understand that they are there to teach you something about yourself. They are there to help you understand something that you have not understood within yourself yet and that you need to improve and change. And we're gonna get there in the video, but this is just to tell you that this is not the end of your life. Making mistakes is part of our journey, of our life. I have been doing some things lately that I was not so proud of. And at first, like you guys, I'm not perfect. I was kind of beating myself up for it. I was, losing confidence, losing hope. But then I told myself, no, I'm not gonna let my mistakes win over me. I have the control to change my mentality, my patterns. So let me prove it to myself. And you take it day by day. You start with one day where you try your best. Then the second. And even if it might not be as perfect the second day, you still get better each day and you start to return having confidence within yourself and believing and having hope because you're proving yourself that you're at least trying to be there for yourself and change things. So, we have how are we going to do this? How are we going to stop being in this survival mindset and in a growth mindset? You have to shift the perspective and the mindset. So, your mistakes are proof of trying. They don't mean that you are a failure. Every mistakes we are coming across our journey in life, they are teaching us something about ourselves. Whether it is that we have to stop hanging out with toxic friendships, whether it is that we have to stay more disciplined, whether it is that we need to cultivate self love, your mistakes are there to teach you and are there to help you improve something about yourself. They are teachers and they help you become better. Every successful person has failed before getting to their success, before achieving a certain goal that they wanted to achieve. The only thing different from the people that are trying but stop at one mistakes and the successful people is that they respond differently. They don't let their failure determine how their success could turn out. In the contrary, they try to see where they can improve. They try to see how they could do this better. The only difference is that they respond differently. And it's the same thing with your mindset. When you're repeating old patterns, mistakes, you have to change from survival mindset to growth mindset. And it might happen that sometimes you still go back into your victim mentality. It is something that you have to deconstruct over time. And it is something that like you will have to build confidence, self-love within yourself to show yourself that no, We shouldn't think this way. And even me, as I told you guys, these past few weeks have been rough for me, but you always get to switch your mentality and bring awareness to how you could change things into better, and that's what creates real lasting change. Solutions: how to stop letting your mistakes define you, define your changes, your improvements, and win over your potential. First, you have to accept fully and even embrace your mistakes. You have to start showing yourself compassion that, yeah, okay, I could have been aware earlier of this mistake. Yeah, you can continue beating yourself up over something that we can never go back in the past. What matters is the present, what you can do in this present moment to change things and to improve this pattern that you've made a mistake over, that you've repeated. This is what matters. What matters is the present. So yeah, you have to accept it fully. You have to embrace the fact that you have made a mistake, that you might not have been playing up to the person you wanted to play up at. It's okay. It's part of life because these are lessons, these are teachers that show you what you can do differently over time and improve. So ask yourself how you can do this thing differently next time, and how can you be there for yourself, and what is this teaching you. And at first, you might not understand what is this trying to teach you, but the more you start reflecting on your past wounds, on your past experiences, on if it's coming maybe from lack of confidence, of self-love, because of some experiences you experienced when you were a young child, over time you'll start to find the answer for it, and you'll start to understand how to help yourself. The first real step that matters is awareness, and to not beat yourself up for it, because beating yourself up for it over time will just, I truly believe that when you just beat yourself up over time over some mistakes, old patterns you've been doing, you're just going to keep redoing them because you're feeding what what you did bad. So you're just feeding off this energy and you're just going to keep repeating it. So you have to reframe this mindset, this perspective, even if some days you might not have hope, might not have confidence. You have to try every single day, at least better, like at least to be there for yourself and to not judge yourself so much. You have to shift your judgment to curiosity. Not, oh, I messed up again, I'm so stupid. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? What is this situation trying to show me? For example, you're just hanging out with toxic friendships and you're staying there because you are scared that you might not find true, real friends that will love you authentically. What is this trying to show you? It shows you that you have probably a lack of self love towards yourself, you have some insecurities, and you have a lack of confidence of believing you can make it out there. So, how can you help yourself? You can start by cutting those toxic friendships. Start by being alone a little bit and spending time with yourself and trying to cultivate that self love within. So, after, other people are not going to be influencing you into situations you will stay in and into situations you could leave, because you have cultivated this confidence, this self love to believe you deserve better because you have been showing it to yourself. So, when you stop judging the mistake and you start observing it, you open space for growth instead of guilt. And that is when things happen to change, because you're helping yourself understand that you can make better changes. Identify the deeper pattern. So, as I said earlier, every mistake usually reveals something about yourself. Not to punish you, but just to make you aware on how you can improve yourself and on things you probably need to heal. So, try to understand, why did I react this way? Why am I coping? I have eating coping mechanism. Why am I struggling with self love, with lack of confidence? Why don't I believe I deserve love? I could find a good partner. You have to start asking yourself the hard questions, because the hard questions are going to be leading you to where you want to be and into attracting all of the abundance and the love that you could fulfill and you could have. But it starts by doing the hard work within and understanding the deeper inner causes, patterns, traumas from your childhood, probably, and other experiences that you have went through. So you have to turn this lesson into wisdom. So what will I do differently this time? How can I make this experience part of my growth journey and help myself? Another thing is you have to forgive yourself intentionally. You cannot move forward if you hate yourself over what you keep repeating, over what you did. You're gonna achieve peace, and with peace, you're gonna be able to grow and to move forward. Until you forgive yourself intentionally, it's not gonna be it's gonna be harder to change things and into believing that you can have better, you can change things and improve things better, because you just hate yourself for what you did, you judge yourself for what you did. But this place is, your mistakes are not a place to judge yourself and to have guilt. And of course, sometimes it's gonna happen. Even for me, this past week, I have not been acting up. There's certain things I have been doing I don't really want myself to do. And at first, yeah, I was kind of beating myself up for it, because it's the victim mindset. It keeps you in your comfort zone of like, oh, I'm a victim, I've done this mistake. But you fall into this mindset of pity towards yourself, that like you're a victim. But no, I'm not a victim of my patterns, of my mistakes. I am the one making them. So, how can I change it? How can I actually make myself deserve better and have better things? So, that's when you have to forgive yourself, because if you keep being in this victim mindset, judging you, punishing you, you're never gonna think you can have better, because you're just staying in this mindset, in this place of lack. You have to redirect the energy. You have to understand how you can make them into awareness, into discipline, into consistency, and to feel your next step on what you need to work on. One thing I want you guys to understand is that mistakes lose their control over you when you transform them into action. You might still feel the pain, but now you have the purpose that you can show to your mistakes that you're gonna prove them wrong. So, this was the end of the video, my angels. I really hoped this video helped you understand that your mistakes are there to help you welcome yourself with compassion, with love, because all of your mistakes are trying to do is show you where you might be lacking self-love, where you might be lacking self-confidence, and where you might need to improve certain things. It's like a self-love guide. It's just that you have not made the awareness to understand where do these mistakes come from and what are they trying to teach me. So you only see the bad side of it. You only see the side of yourself punishing yourself, making old mistakes, not helping yourself. But there is a solution towards it, and it is becoming aware of it and changing your mindset and trying to understand what your mistakes are teaching you. And so, thank you, my loves. This was an amazing video. I hope I have been able to help you. And on that, I see you in another video. Bye bye.